What is going on, traders? Today, we're going to talk about what happened in the market. It was a wacky day in the market, all over the place. We were looking at SPY today. It was literally all over the place. So it was a fun day. It was all over the place. Some people made money on puts today. Me personally, I did not. I actually, lost a little bit of money on my scalps, but I made money on my swings. So that's always good when it happens that way because the swings are more consistent, they're more controlled, and we see them over a long period of time. But let's talk about what happened today in the market, and let's talk about the big stocks, what's going on, what's happening with them. So first and foremost, let's talk about NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA will continue to consolidate. I really don't see much happening with NVIDIA. I see NVIDIA being in this range of 180 to 190 like it's been for a period of time. I think that in a month we can start to see it push up to around 200, but in any year, I think NVIDIA will go to 300. It just needs a lot of news. It needs a major catalyst to really push it up because right now, NVIDIA does not have anything interesting that's going to push it up. There's nothing that's really of value that's changing NVIDIA's story right now. You know what I mean? The key things to watch with NVIDIA more so than anything is the news. It's partnerships. It had a partnership with Lilly, I believe, a couple of days ago to build some new stuff for healthcare. But we need to look at the earnings and the guidance factors that NVIDIA is going to have. Investors need confirmation of AI like results. We need to see something going on. And February 25th is the next evaluation for this. So there's a lot of volatility in Nvidia, but it's really staying in that consolidated range. It needs to kind of control itself. I think that the expectations and the price for Nvidia are already priced in, so we're probably not going to see too much crazy growth with Nvidia. Next one I want to talk about is Google. Google is one of my favorites. I think Google's going to push up. Google's already pushing up very nicely. Google has vertically integrated all their AI stuff. They're absolutely killing it. They're at 336 right now. I think Google will continue to break out. And the big thing with Google that most people don't realize is Google is one of those companies that has just a huge amount of data. I think that in 1 month, we're going to see Google push to 365, honestly. And if AI execution stays strong, Google's going to continue to push up in 6 months to 400, 420. And I think in a year, Google can be at $500 a share. I think Google is almost going to double by the end of the year. So big thing you got to look at is their strategy, their headlines, their cloud growth. Alphabet just hit, as Google, $4 trillion in an evaluation with renewed AI confidence. The ad revenue is still huge with Google, with YouTube and Google search. So we're looking for a lot of technical setups with bullish trend right now. There's a lot of confirmation in here. Google did touch 341, and Google is, continuing to push that 340 point, and I think it'll still run up there. So I'm very, very positive on Google. Next thing I want to talk about is Apple. Let's talk about Apple over here. Now, Apple had a good run the other day. Apple was able to make a little bit of moolah for some traders, but at the end of the day, Apple is still not necessarily doing too crazy. I think it is stabilizing right now, and I think it will start to push up. So not necessarily trade it for this week, but probably the next week. I think it'll start to hit 270. I think in 1 month, Apple will start to hit the 275, 285 as their product cycle starts to continue. And in 6 months, we can see Apple just grow as their services expand and their iPhones refresh. Apple will probably be at 300. In about a year, I think Apple will go to 350. The ecosystem is really good. The monetization is really good. Apple's doing amazing. The big things that you got to watch for Apple is their services, their growth trends, their hardware, their consumer spend indicators, their market demand, which is really good. They're not necessarily as strong right now. They don't have as much momentum with the stock. I do think this is still signaling an upward journey and a bullish movement. They need more demand in Asia. If Apple can get demand in Asia, they can absolutely just destroy everybody. I seriously believe that. Samsung is their big competitor, but they are outperforming them to a degree, especially in the US market. They're just dominating them. So the risks for Apple are the supply chain. That's the big thing with, phones. Next, I want to talk about Microsoft. Microsoft is not doing so great. Okay. I think Microsoft will drop a little bit lower, but I think they will start to recover back to their 470 point. I think in a month, Microsoft can start picking up if Azure and enterprise strength starts to come out with new news, which they'll probably release new updates. Microsoft got hit on earnings. They said that people priced them in wrong. So if that justification comes true, Microsoft can do very, very, very well. Next, in 6 months, I think Microsoft can hit 510. And in about a year, my prediction for Microsoft is about 550. They're a very good company. They've been around for a long time. Microsoft is still the big Gila hitter for everything. I don't see that going away anytime soon, but they really need to focus on Azure and competing with other web service platforms. Big thing is the growth commentary for Azure, their enterprise AI adoption, and their They're overall driving sales when it comes to their products. Microsoft has always performed very well with their product sales. Their big threat could be their supply chain, their leadership in AI and chipset. Their cloud remains their long advantage. If they don't secure that, they're going to start to lose more. Next, I want to talk about Amazon. Amazon's not growing as much as I thought it would. It was doing really good, and then it kind of hit a wall around that 248 point. If you look here, Amazon was just kind of stopping around here. They hit that, they held a little bit, and then they dropped. And Amazon, I think, will probably try to run up again. I do think Amazon is a very strong company. I think they're the safest company for long-term growth. I'm going to keep it real with you. They're going to grow at the best rate long term. So if you want to do like year-long calls, I would honestly pick Amazon. I think in a week they'll probably start to run back up to 245, but they'll probably still bounce around 230 to 245. I think in a month they'll start to break 250. They're probably going to break out again with Amazon Web Services strength. In 6 months, they're probably going to climb to 275. Not that much of a growth. And I think in a year, Amazon's going to hit 300. Now, that's not a massive amount of growth. Okay. That's a 50 point, 70 point move, depending on where you're looking at Amazon at. So I think Amazon is the safest long term growth, but it's also the slowest. They have strong cloud growth. They've been doing really good. Their big thing is just maintaining right now, and Amazon is doing a good job with that. Their AWS growth is the biggest thing, and they got to obviously succeed with retail. Next, I want to talk about Meta. Now, Meta in itself is dropping a lot. Okay, Meta ran up. Meta had a lot of growth, and then Meta just completely got slammed. And I love that Meta is getting slammed because personally, I think that Meta I like big drops like this. So this massive drop on Meta from the 250 mark to this is just absolutely insane. Meta shorts paid a lot of money. And the big thing I'll say about Meta is that I think that in 1 week, we're going to see Meta start to hit 600, if not lower. I think it could start to go in the 500s. I think that in a month, it'll start to recover again, probably hover around that. They need more advertiser spend. They're completely shifting to AI. Mark does not care. He's looking at that as a future. But I do think Meta will run back up to 750 to 800 if they have structured ads with AI. Oh my God, I think they can absolutely murder it with that. There's still a large advertising platform that people don't really understand. They have a large amount of data on everybody. So Meta is definitely poised to come back hard, but I think for the temporary, I think it's going to go down. Another company that is struggling a little bit is Tesla. Now Tesla, if you look here at Tesla, I think that it's so much volatility. I think Tesla's going to go down to 420 and go up to 460. It's going to be in a big range. Now I got bigger ranges for Tesla. In 1 month, I think it'll be at 450 to roughly 500. Now, the big psychological break is 500. I think in 6 months, it's going to hit 500 and hover and break that. If it breaks 500, it's going to run up probably to 650. So Tesla they just need to keep increasing their production. If you see more news about their delivery, their figures, their macro impact on EV, their overall trend in the market, they're still struggling in a lot of aspects, but they need to really dominate in terms of the EV market. If you look at China's EVs cars, they're in a different range. If Tesla can even relatively catch up, they would blow out all the automakers here. The big thing is the EV demand and the cyclability. EV is dropping in demand, but it's trying to come back. The Chinese demand for EV is absolutely insane. They're amazing. So overall, with these Mag 7 stocks, the short-term themes are, you're going to look for Google and Amazon to start to grow. I think Microsoft will recover a little bit. I think Tesla and Meta will start to drop down. And I think Apple will also start to recover a little bit. The AI trend is a very big thing. It's still positive, but it's starting to get weak again. I think that we need to be more risk on. I think people are actually risk on for 2026 with AI. I think that is the sentiment. And I think we're going to have some breakouts here with Google, especially. Google's going to be pushing up quite a bit. Couple stocks just to give you a quick analysis. NVIDIA, I think that it's digesting. I think NVIDIA investors want earning confirmation. That was another stock that I think is going to recover. Google, the AI leadership is gaining confidence now. They're doing really good. Apple is stabilizing. I think their services are growing. Microsoft, they need more cloud and enterprise domination with their AI. Amazon is slow move. AWS is going to grow slowly. Okay. Meta, I think, is going to drop a little bit. I think they really need to show that they're going to be good at advertising with AI. And Tesla, we need more EV demand. It's probably going to hover here. If they break their psychological 500 barrier, they can really be dangerous. So hopefully that made sense. Appreciate you guys for jumping on this video and for taking time out of your day to watch me. Till next time, peace out.